To be a good one. Here we go.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
The thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world. Yes, sir. It's your boy Humble Dad back with another edition of Humble Dad Podcast. Got a dope show for you this evening. We're going to be talking about who should adjust first as it relates to men and women in relationships. And we'll build up to that. I think it's important for people to have an aspect or a perspective that is their own. But at the same time, if somebody says something that you don't agree with, but then they say something that makes sense, then, there should be an opportunity for an adjustment. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to bring the people up to the stage, and we're going to start with Miss Dia. How you doing today, ma'am? You're on mute.
I said, I'm great. How are you, Humble Dad?
Listen, I can't give you my real answer, but we'll say good. You know what I'm saying? I give you the church answer. I'm good.
Okay. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely, man. People been talking about, like, they really appreciate your perspective. One person that said how you gave CJ the business last week. In a good way.
My attention. I didn't make
it. In a good way, though. In a good way.
Okay, good.
So the question that we have is 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Which decade do you love the most and why?
The 90s, I would say, because I knew more of myself then. I had my son. A lot of good things happened in the 90s, and that's the time that I could relate to most. So the 90s for sure.
In a particular year in the 90s?
Maybe 92 to 96. I learned some of my biggest lessons. 96 was like my first growth spurt, I would say, in consciousness. So definitely the 90s.
That's what's up. Those are the years I was in high school, 92 to 96. Hey, we're going to welcome to the stage Mr. Prototype.
What's up?
Chilling, man. You got the question?
Yeah, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Which decade do I love the most? I don't love any of them the most. They all got their gifts and they all got their curse. So I'm not particular to any decade in life, and I didn't even live in the 60s and 70s, so I really don't have no perspective on it. So yeah, I don't
you don't
love
know nothing that happened in the 60s. Because
I heard, and I seen some documentaries, you know what I'm saying, but I didn't experience it, so I can't speak on it. As far as the 80s and 90s, man, life is way better as an adult than it was when I was a kid. So I don't know.
That's what's up. Okay, I appreciate that. I can't say you didn't answer the question, right? That's what Dwayne always talking about. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna go ahead and bring him. Hey, listen, I know he's off mute, so we're gonna get this started, right? Dwayne, what you got?
We'll go to the 90s because that's the only relevant one on my list. On your list. So that's the
These
one.
people are so picky, bro. Picky. Why the 90s, bro?
Well, the next one's the 2000s, but that's not on the list. And we heard the scope.
Why the 90s, bro? Why the 90s?
Because it's the 10 years, first 10 years of my life. I'll say that. Well, you know what? How about this? I spent the majority of that time in Jamaica. How about that? All right.
Okay.
Next.
Oh, man. Welcome to the stage, Mr. Sahel.
Salute, brother. Humble Dad, good to see you, man. Thanks for having me on the show tonight. Really appreciate you.
Listen, I appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Got the tan jacket. Every man should have the tan suit. That's what Steve Harvey said. But Steve Harvey ain't always right, though. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he was right about that part, though. He's right about that one.
That's fair. What you got on it?
I'm going to go with the 90s. Number one is because I entered into the world, and so I made it a better place. Born in 87. The second one is the Chicago Bulls. Nobody mentioned this? The whole era with MJ, what? Like, it was great for NBA. You got shows like Martin come out, Jamie Foxx, Fresh. I mean, entertainment was booming. And then the big thing was families were families back then, right? So we had family reunions. We had Sunday dinners. It was in the 90s where it was the culmination of all the best of arts and entertainment and politics and education where Black people were shining. Like, so the 90s were great to me. And I would have to say that was the best decade.
That's a bet. Appreciate you sharing. Hey, my sister in love, what you got? Shan?
Good evening, everybody. I am going to choose the 70s. I feel like that's the era my parents grew up in. So I was able to listen to all the music that came from that genre, that era, which was really impactful. The style, I love us women were natural then, unapologetically. We're doing something different now, but we're rolling back, and even the style is back. Like I can wear my bell bottoms now with a fro, and just So yeah.
So are you talking because you're not talking about BBLs, right? You said natural.
I mean hair. Okay.
Okay. All right. I just want to be able to context.
I have nothing to do with that. Okay.
All right. Cool.
That's them 2000s over. We're vain. At least some of us are.
That's a bit.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here, sister. Hey, we're gonna welcome to the stage none other than Mr. Uncle Rick in the building.
What's happening?
Chilling, man. What you got going?
Nothing, man. Chilling. Same old stuff. Blessed to be here. What's good, everybody? Beautiful people. Sir Hell, my brother, what's good with you? So the 90s, man. The 90s. The best era of hip hop, R&B, movies, you name it. Right? The best movies, Casino, Goodfellas, the 90s. Best hip hop, Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, the 90s. The best ladies, around the way girls, you know what I'm saying? A Needle Apple Bum. You gotta put me on. You know what I'm saying? When hip hop was hip hop, when R&B was still love songs, when people still loved each other. It's the 90s, hands down. Hands down, the 90s.
So we put the 2000s and the 2010s. Would anybody change their vote?
Send it all back. Send it back. Let's redo it.
For sure. I definitely would say the 90s for me. What was that? That was middle school going into high school and college. So that was like all of basically me becoming who I am to a degree. And I learned a lot about myself, especially when I went to college. I pledged in 98, so it was a lot of things going in the 90s for me, for sure. So I'm going to go with the 90s. Martin, you had Martin, you had Fresh Prince, you had, what else was it? You had Living.
Alicia, the Parkers, all of them. Living Single, it was all of them.
Yeah. All of them just lying to us, but we enjoyed it. All right, that's a bet, man. Appreciate y'all being here. We're gonna get it started. I think this is going to be an interesting dialogue as we lead up to the main topic. And there was some questions that I had from last week that we didn't really get to, so we'll get to it today. So the first statement or question is, let's say that your spouse is not doing something that is in the relationship, like a requirement in the relationship. What would the conversation be? We talked about what my mind is centered around is like spousal accountability. Like if she's not doing what you ask or he's not doing what you ask, like what would that conversation entail and how would that go? I'll give you a moment to think about that. And we'll start with Mr. Dwayne Jones.
Dang. All right. You know what? This has been a learning opportunity that I have been going through for a good while. Because I would say I came from holding things in and not saying stuff, and whenever you finally say something, things explode. So I've been learning having to learn how to communicate effectively in that regard. So again, I've mentioned this before, but front loading. So a conversation would be like, hey, want to bring something to your attention that I've been noticing, and not in a bad way. And also the compliment sandwich, or whenever you have to bring somebody bad news, you pack it with good news on each side. I struggle with that, but I see the benefit in doing all those things. So now, hey, it's say something, but say something as for finding out if it's a good time. That's another thing with front loading. Like, hey, is this a good time? Hey, can we talk about this? Because one of the things I've learned is timing is very important, and if you bring something whenever they ain't ready for it, physically, like then they had a rough day or whatever, and you want to offload, that's not a good time. So timing is everything. So for me, I've been working on all three of those things: timing, the sandwich, and also front loading.
Who you got going next?
Ms. D, come on with it.
About to storm outside. Yep.
Who you say? You said
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say I would definitely pick my battles, like Dwayne said, so to speak. But I would address it. I would just ask, like, what's up? We have times these days when we talk about whatever our concerns are. So I will probably address it then, depending on what it is. But it depends on what the issue was and how severe it was. If I brought it up, if I'm gonna pick my battles, or if I'm gonna address it.
Well, like it's one of your top requirements. Like there's something that you do require in your relationship.
Then it'll be addressed, like probably maybe immediately, but I would consider like the circumstance, like maybe look at it from their perspective as to why it didn't happen or the situation wasn't addressed when I asked. But if it's rational, then I'll just probably let it slide. If it's a rational reason why I didn't get my need met or my requirement met, then I'll just go with it.
So who you got going next?
Shan.
This question, I know. This one was a hard one for me. I don't think. Let me not say I don't think. I did not approach this question correctly in a lot of instances. And for me, they always dealt with financial responsibilities, primarily in the home. And so for me, I tried to find times when we were settled at the end of the day where we could sit and talk, asking for permission, like, hey, do you have a moment? I've had something that's been bothering me. Once I got better at it, that I really need to talk to you about, right? So trying not to harbor things, or for women, we get into this process of allowing a small thought to continue to go on, and then it becomes something much bigger, because we play out scenarios. I play out scenarios. So for me to stop all of those things from happening, I tried to find a time that would be good where we could sit and talk. Like, and wanted you to know that this is a serious conversation for me. Like, I've had some stuff that I've been thinking about, and I really need to get it off my chest, because I feel myself getting to a place where I'm becoming bothered and irritated by what's happening, because expectations are not necessarily being met. And so that was my attempt with counseling and taking time, to understand how my partner communicated and how I needed to communicate with them, how I needed to come to him and address those types of issues. But like the other two panelists have said, definitely it needs to be addressed. It's not something that you just need to allow to linger. And we'll take it over to Sir Hill.
Well, it's a fantastic question that you asked, because whenever you talk about requirements, then you have to have the other person to respect it as a requirement and not reduce it to a want or something you just feel in the moment. So it's a very interesting question. But I like what Mrs. D said. And the reason I like this is because that takes a level of wisdom to know that there are certain things worth fighting about or complaining about, and there are certain things that it might just be missed one day. And so it may be in your best interest to just let it slide today. Maybe they were sleepy or tired or they missed it or something. And if you can overlook that, then you just minimize the problem. I think the issue comes in when we have requirements, number one, and we're not clear about communicating those up front. Right? We talk about them as if it's a negotiable. And when we don't get those things, we are either passive or we are afraid that we're not going to get what we want. So we just hope that they give it to us. And when they don't give it to us, we resent them for not giving it to us, even though we weren't clear on communicating that it was a requirement. That's the first one. The second thing is for the person who has to see it. I think that it has to be a respect that it might be stupid to me. Like, so I'll give you an example. So I'm not the kind of person who want to hold hands and watch, sweet, love story movie. I don't like that. I personally, if I'm going to watch a movie, I want to see somebody's head get ripped. That's what I prefer. I want to see some war. I want to see some action. I don't want to see the Notebook. I don't like notebooks. I don't even like real ones. I don't buy none of those. Right? I don't want to see that. But if my wife likes this, well, then I've got to find a way, because it's not the movie she's looking at. It's the quality time. You see what I'm saying? So, and if she requires quality time to keep her good, then if that's my wife, I've got to do what it takes to give my wife what she needs, even if it's not quote unquote important to me. The fact that it's important to her and me doing good to her is going to do good to me. I got to do that. And I think that's what makes so all in all, you respect the person's requirements. And anytime you bring up a concern to them, you do it with the utmost respect and you do it with understanding. And the biggest thing, and I'll leave with this, is you got to understand their personality. So I'm type A. So I'm always goal-oriented, driven. I'm always intense. So when my wife comes to me, she don't come to me intense. She comes to me real peaceful and real love. You see what I'm saying? So you got to know the person you're with, how to approach them, because you can say the right words the wrong way and they interpret it completely different. So with respect, with understanding, and I think that's how you present an issue when your requirements aren't being met. And let's go with prototype.
Man, how am I supposed to follow that one? Like, he hit the chime and everything. No, so man, I really can't. There's really not much left for me to say. I kind of agree with what Ms. D said earlier. Is definitely with Sir Hal. On top of that, like, even acknowledging when your needs aren't being met, the cycle that you go through and what you're going to do about addressing it becomes a battle. It's a struggle as well. So so many things play out to be like, well, this person's not meeting my needs. Well, forget it. I'll go outside and get my needs met somewhere else. And then, no, I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna make it work. Like, so you go through so many different steps before you even get to addressing what's going on. You know what I mean? So and then you blame yourself. Well, I'll blame myself for not addressing it in the first place. You know what I mean? So I think it's always best to just get it out the way, address it early. As soon as you realize there's an issue and you have a need that's not being fulfilled, address it as soon as you can before any other thing can take place. Yeah, let's go with Rick.
How to address spouse when they don't do the requirements. Man, I think, like I said, if it comes up in most cases, if your partner brings it up, you should consider it an issue, right? In all things, big or small, right? Because, like I said, or I should say, how I believe is that me and you as one, right? You're looking for me to get your needs met, and vice versa, right? So I think anytime's a good time. I think a lot of people wait, and a lot of times those times don't get here, right? I'm gonna wait for the right time. The right time is right now, right? I'm not. Again, if your partner know you there doing the best for them, they know that. I mean, we need to get out of these excuses, right? Of I feel a certain way about it and stuff like that. We're supposed to be grown. You should know if I'm your partner, we in it for the long haul, and we down, 10 toes in the dirt together. I'm not out to hurt you. right? The question should be is that why do I gotta wait till we not on eggshells or it's not pins and needles for us to have a discussion? All right, that's the real question. I'm here for you and you here for me, and nothing I will tell you is here to degrade you or make you feel a certain type of way about nothing. It's to make no matter what nobody say, both of us better, because if you doing what I need to do, I can be more efficient. And if I'm doing what you need to do, you can be more efficient. So we can be more efficient at loving each other. So that's my take on it.
That's good. Did anybody have something to add? Okay, get that 10-second right there. That's good. I think it's good to make sure that you understand who it is that you're dealing with, right? That's the main thing, because if a person needs time and they can't process it once they come in the house, that you may have an issue, then that's going to further the issue. However, if you know the person that you're with is cool with talking about it whenever, then that's when you probably should address it. But I think that people kind of need to get to the point of being able to talk about it whenever. Because as Ricky alluded to, if I have an issue with you, when is there going to be a good time to say that, right? Because if I say it now, when you're calm, you still could have an issue with what I'm saying, right? Or not want to see it from my perspective. So I think people kind of being able to listen to the other person with the mindset that we're on the same team. And my ideas that or how I'm feeling about what's going on is a concern to me enough that we should talk about it and come to some resolution, and not say, well, that's just on you, right? That doesn't make for a really good team. So that's a really good start. So as we
I'd like to chime in if I can.
Absolutely.
Ladies are carriers. Now, going on 16 years of marriage, I've learned a couple things. My wife is a carrier. So when I've got an issue, I'm going to talk about it. I'm done with it. If we've resolved it, that's it. It's over with. Like we talk, this is the reason. Salute to what Ricky said. When we talk about it, I don't want to come back to this 2 days from now. 3 weeks. When I'm done, I want to be done with this. I've learned that a lot of our women are carriers, and this is nature. This is how you're built. You carry stuff. I mean, heck, you are a carrier, a literal. And I've learned that sometimes when I would talk to my wife about an issue I have with her response would just be I'm like, hey, humble dad. All I said was something simple. And she done blown up about it. And when you dig down to it, she's reacting to what I said. She's responding to something else. It's a big difference. And I think a lot of us, we interpret our woman's reaction and we assume that it's based off of what we're saying. She had a hard day at school today. She's got paperwork due. She's got, arts that are coming up. A parent came up there and cussed her out about her kid. So she's carrying all that stuff from school. So when I bring something to her and she's not communicating, because a lot of women don't communicate what they're experiencing in their words, they do it in their body language. So, okay, her body language talks about it. So I've learned that if I've got an issue with her, it really is simple. Sit her down, rub her feet, let her get it off. Let her get whatever that pressure is off. And what I found most of the time, I don't have to tell her what the issue was. She'll apologize for it. It's just that when there's a lot of stuff going on, any additional weight makes her feel like she's failing. And it's something that a lot of women try to escape. So again, timing does make a difference. And being able to understand this, again, this goes back to what Ms. D said earlier. You have to know when you need to bring up an issue, because you should bring up an issue when they're not aware of it, not when you're frustrated at them. It's a big difference. So you give them some time. Like yesterday, we were doing something, 2 days ago, and my wife was just irritable. I'm like, what'd I do? And then she texted me back a couple hours later, because I went to the movies, and she said, "Babe, I'm sorry. I realized I was real quick. I was just sleepy." And I let her get some sleep. And then when I got back home, he gave me the biggest kiss, because you got to understand each other. And I think the issue is We don't teach this level of attentiveness in our marriages. Like, you don't just get married to a person and be with them, study them. And when you study a person, this facilitates much better communication. I'll land there.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
No, please.
I understand what everybody's saying. And I don't know if there are other listeners out here who, deal with similar situations, but I was the type that I want to handle it, put it on the table, move on, right? Like, let's fix it, let's move on. But my spouse was someone who held things in and needed processing time. Well, I've given you 2 weeks to process this. When we come together to talk about it, you've processed it and dealt with it on your own, and you still have no solution. Like, there's still nothing that we're coming to a resolve for. And so for me, I think some people so there's a right time to do it, but we also have to be mindful that what are we processing? It goes back to what Uncle Rick said. Like, we should be able as adults to just have conversation. Why do you need days, weeks, months to process?
You don't want the answer to that question. You don't want the
Rick,
answer.
you can give it to me.
Because you ain't gonna like it.
It doesn't matter at this point, Rick.
He's the man. He can process it when he get goddamn good and ready.
Okay.
He's the man.
If you're processing it for 2 weeks and we come back to have a conversation about it, if there's still, if I ask you what was wrong and you can't say what was wrong, that's okay.
It's okay for him. It might not be okay for you, but then if that's not what you accept out of a mate, then you got choices to make.
I'm gonna push back a little bit, Rick. Your job comes to you and be like, "We need this fixed." Let's say your job comes to you and be like, "We need this fixed."
Okay.
And you're saying, "Let me process it for 2 weeks." They're like, "No, we need this today."
That's a great point, but this ain't my job. This is my woman. She chose to be with me.
Why does it change?
Because
why is that requirement change?
Because this ain't a job. This is my woman. A job is a fiscal responsibility we have between two parties. She's my woman. She chose with me. If this is the way I move as a man, it's not her job to change me. I'm gonna change myself. She chose me. I chose her. So what's the order of things?
I have a question.
What's the order? I'm asking Prototype. What's the order of things?
I mean, we're the lead.
Okay, then. So that's
but if my wife came to me and was like, I need this solved.
That's you. That's you. You hear what I'm saying?
Every situation is different.
That's you. Every person's different.
So let me offer just a slight pushback.
Hold on real quick, sir. Dia wanted to say something, and then you can come right behind hers. So.
I hear what Ricky is saying, and I was thinking that in this situation, the response is different probably between women and men. Mm-hmm. However, I'm the type that if I have an issue and we address it, then I'm done. So I can move on. I got to protect my energy no matter what the response is. I try not to walk away without some type of resolve. But my question in response to Ricky's answer is, I think that's where care comes in at, and care for your partner and how they going to feel. And
understood.
So I'm saying that to say, I think that one thing that we overlook is care, even in loving each other, and that we should care about how the other person is going to feel, regardless as to how we feel about the situation. And I hear what you're saying about processing time, but like you told Shan, you don't want the answer, right? And I want to know what your response was going to be to that. Like, why wouldn't she want the answer? Like, what are you going to say to that?
Because what I'm saying is this. I think this is a big problem a lot of us have, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, right? Mm-hmm. What a man does for his woman is out of care, right? It's out of consideration. Can we all agree to that? Right?
I wouldn't say it is if you saying you get to take as long as you need.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. As a man, he does. As a man, every man does, right? It's just that Prototype thinks enough for his woman to bend. It's either in him or it wasn't, right? But either way, Prototype sees his wife a certain way to say, hey, I know this is a problem for her, right? But the truth is, let me just put it out on the line how I feel about this, right? The problem is that women look for men to be a certain way for them when women should be a certain way for men. Plain and simple, short and sweet, right? Women keep trying to make men that's not leaders, they leaders. Y'all keep trying to make men that's not emotionally available for y'all, that's not really matched for y'all, matched for y'all. No, look, every man's not a leader. Every man don't move the way you want them to move, but you got to be smart enough to find a man that's willing to move to care for you, right? But the truth of the matter is, right, if that man is rich or poor, if you chose to be with him, he's your leader. He's your lead. Yeah, this is about being in order. What's the order? God, man, wife, correct? Right? So you were supposed to fall under your man, whether he's a bad leader or not. You fucking him. You chose him. Especially if you married and had vows with it. He might be a fucked up leader, but he's your fucked up leader.
I hear you, bro. I just don't think they can make that call. And I know it sounds like they should be able to, but I don't think they have it in them to actually determine or decipher
then at that level of processing. At that point, Prototype, you are taking away the one responsibility that a woman's supposed to have. That's what you do. The one real responsibility a woman was supposed to have is be smart enough for the man she chose. That's the one. Everything else is on me. Everything else gonna fall on me at the end of the day. Y'all keep proving it with these points. We keep proving it with this. It is not our job to keep bending for women. That's the fucking problem, bro. I lead a certain way, and my wife likes it. That's why she's with me. Shan Mans is a certain way. That's why she's with him. If you don't like it, move on. Stop trying to make a man. You there to inspire him. If he chooses to be better, if it's in his makeup, and as y'all say, to find his purpose to be better, y'all there to push him that way. But if that's the way he is, you choosing to be with there. If not, leave or don't do it. Right? Because what happened with us, right? We got to love y'all just the way you are.
See, I got some pushback on this, and I'll tell you why. It's two things. I want to first address Shan's point, which I think was a really good question, and I agree with a lot of what Ricky said about this. If a man who doesn't care about you doesn't process, that's a key thing for women to understand. If he he don't put no thought into what he's saying, he's not really considering you. A lot of times men take some time and really process some stuff because we really don't want to hurt y'all feelings. And if we just say how we felt, for some women, I know Miss D said, when she done with something, but I've learned from even the strongest women that when it's a man that they love who says something to them, a woman can keep that in her heart for months, especially if he said it in a way that hurts her in some way. So men, typically, we take some time, and you might think that 2 weeks is sufficient time, but it might not be sufficient time for him to wrap his head around what you just brought up, and he has to process that. And I think the issue that messes up that whole processing time is the constant nudging that, hold on, are we going to talk about this yet? Are we ready to bring this back up yet? Are we going to bring this back on the table yet? And so it's been 2 weeks in terms of time, but he hasn't had that piece to really think through what the issue is. So I think that the other part of this, and this is to Ricky's point, I don't think that understanding a woman's point of view, understanding how she feels, is us bending to our woman. Now, I firmly believe that as you go and you grow together, you go through different iterations of yourself. And this means that how you are able to talk to her one way, you can't do that. Like the way you would talk to each other in your 20s, it should be a difference in your 40s, right? And we don't want our wives to fear us from the perspective that I know how he moves and I can't say anything to him, because here's what happens. Those kind of men get cheated on by her with a man that's emotionally available, right? Because it's not the bending that she needs. It's just the understanding. I'm your wife. And there's a certain way, a certain tenderness that the strongest of leaders have to approach our wives with. So again, doing that is not bending to her, it's understanding her, because when you give her a better version of you, it naturally cultivates a better environment for her to give you a better version of herself.
Yeah,
Rick, did you want to respond?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I want to concede that point because that's facts, right? But again, that's if you care. You see what I'm saying? That's you, Sir Hell. That's me. That's Prototype. That's Humble Dad. That's Dwayne Jones. But that's not every man, is what I'm saying. Right? Again, we all should live by a code of certain standards that men should move by, but we know that's not the case. So what I'm saying is this, ladies, when you see a man, you need to accept him for what he is, not for what he might be. Everything else that he becomes, if he becomes a greater version of himself, is simply extra. It's simply extra. And stop saying that man, because all you doing is making yourself look bad. If a man lacks leadership to your capacity, listen to what I'm saying, ladies, to your capacity, and you still there, what is that saying about you as a woman?
Did you hear what I said?
Let's ask the real questions, niggas. What is that saying about you? What is that saying about you as a woman? What I'm saying is this, Sir Harold, and you are 100% right. All of y'all are 100% right. If it went the way it's supposed to go. Right? But the truth is, if you with that man, he is your lead. He is your lead. Y'all say y'all God-fearing women. Y'all say y'all in the Bible. Y'all say y'all understand the scriptures.
I understand what is being said. I hear you, Uncle Rick. I get it. I understand that. All points made.
Okay, go ahead. I think, hold on, dear, before you go. Dwayne had a thought process. Go ahead, Dwayne, what you wanted to say?
Thought process.
Yeah, I did. That joking. No,
Well done. Which processes?
No, I was, but then I was listening. Yeah, I mean, that was some good stuff. But as I was going, y'all were going through it. I was thinking, like, from my perspective as well. Like, my wife is the processor, and I struggle with that because whenever I want to talk about something, I want to talk about it, right? And sometimes you can't just kick down the door. I think that's how, and especially in a marriage, like, especially whenever there's like, hey, let's pick this up tomorrow. Like, I is that respectful? I'll say yes, it is. At the time for me, oh no, it's not, because I want a full swat, kick down that door, but it hasn't ended well for me. Like, in the sense of it will, if she tells me that she does not like something, that's her telling me she doesn't like something. I really do have to consider that, because I would like the same respect in that regard as well. But I was thinking about this. So it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto your wife as unto a weaker vessel, and as being heirs together in grace of life, that your prayers may not be hindered. And I look at that in the sense of a weaker vessel. Like, we want to think about, oh yeah, we're equal and all this, but yeah, you're right. There is a hierarchy. There is God, there is man, and then there's the wife, right? So, but then even with that, that's where I understand, like, we have to be able to time back in. So, like I was saying, as for the processor, she has to process, but if she says 2 weeks, that would bother me, and that's something I have to bring up in a conversation. Like, hey, that bothers me. And as for form of consideration, that's something she has to consider as well. So to your point, Ricky, like, yeah, like, hey, you were heir, like your father. That's that. Hey, you got to account to God regarding your heart or your disposition in that. But then also with me as a leader too, like, I have to be someone that she desires to follow. But that's not something, especially in our marriage now. That's like y'all were saying. That's already done, right? Signed, sealed, delivered. Now all this extra stuff is extra, right? And I think that's the maturing. That's the getting better. Like, as we get older, like, we're learning to live as one, and in that there's a finer and a greater understanding of one another. And not only that, as you're growing in oneness, like, your relationship with God has to be concrete as well. So I have to have a relationship with God. She has to have a relationship with God, because if both of us are out of alignment, like, that's going to be jacked. Also, if one of us is out of alignment, it's going to be jacked, because hey, we both got to be in alignment in order for us to do our best, and that's how God designed. So, and it is a struggle, but it is a continual maturing, and not only that, it's a continual renewing of your mind. So, as for keeping your partner in consideration, I think there's honor in that.
That's good. I never know where y'all gonna take these conversations, but I think it's a very good nuggets that are being dropped. And so when I have questions, y'all make me come back and think about other questions, such as we're talking about leadership. Go ahead, Dee.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Ricky. He said that men have to accept women like they are.
Correct.
Can you elaborate on that? Because I appreciate accountability. Like, I look for that.
Right. That's you though, dear.
I know. I'm talking about me.
Right. I'm talking about as a whole, though, as a people, what we're going through. Right. I applaud. Look, I said it earlier. Shout out to the sisters that's doing it for real. Yeah. Listen to what I'm saying. Shout out to the real ones, the real ladies, who knew they was going. When you saw them, you knew what it was. When you saw them. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
But I didn't.
Exactly. But at that time, you was like through whatever, right? Let's be honest. When you saw
at that time, I didn't know who I was.
Right. That's not the point. That's not the point. Right. The point is, as a woman, whatever woman you was at that point, you knew, didn't you? Let's be honest. You knew. Like, hey. If this is what he's going to be right here forever, whatever. Facts?
No.
Facts?
No.
Facts? Yeah, it was, because if you didn't, you wouldn't marry the man. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't marry the man.
I think you're giving them too much credit, bro.
I
really don't think they can do that.
That's but that's the problem, right? We keep allowing them to get away with shit. That's the problem. Right?
I'm saying, what does that mean?
No. What does this mean? What this means is that man that you're married right now, correct?
Correct.
How long you been married?
I've been married for 23 years and we've been together for 33.
So 33 years, right? 33 years. It was some point in your relationship as a woman, when you looked at that man, you said, no matter what, to the dirt, I'm staying with this man. At some point. So you can walk out the door today, huh? It ain't nothing.
I ain't saying it ain't nothing, but I'm saying that the capacity changes. Like, my needs have changed.
The capacity, exactly. Those have changed as you've gotten older. Correct. Now he's been able to meet those needs, correct?
Correct.
I'm talking about the day you said it's on and popping. You, not him. You didn't know what that man was going to do. You didn't know if that man was going to fall off the face of the earth the next day. But that day you put it in your mind. You knew that this man right here, I'm going to love him for the rest of my life. You knew that.
I didn't. Honestly.
Okay. You're going to keep lying to me. You're going to keep lying to me.
I'm not lying. I don't have a reason to lie. I'm here to keep.
So, Ms. D, that proves Ricky's point, though. And it's a really good point that Ricky made, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because men, by and large, do accept women as they are. It's only the other way around that we don't get that same reciprocity. So most women are okay with leaving a man once they are done with him and she's got whatever she wants. And there's a prospect of a man giving her what she wants at that level. Most men, when we get with our woman, we first of all assume that we're not going to get a lot of the stuff that we need until later on. And so we have a lot more patience. The divorce statistics speak to this in a lot of cases, which is why it's more easier for women to just walk away because they're not really in the long run like the men are. So what Ricky said is there's a lot of truth to that. A lot of men, we by and large, we're taught to accept a woman just how she is. And, there's the talking point about, women shouldn't date, men for potential. I said this often. That was a marketing. Most women do not marry men for potential. Men do. Women marry men for what they see. Women marry men for what they see. Men marry women for what they hope to see. We eventually end up settling when it comes to weight. We don't get hot meals. A lot of times women let themselves go. They give more attention to their pastors. They give more intention and like energy toward their careers, while the needs of the men go neglected. And guess what men do? We sit there and we keep on working. We keep on paying the bill. We keep on we keep on laying that pipe down. We stay faithful. We pray for you, and we hope that it'll change. So I hope you hear this and understand what Ricky's saying, because it's a true point. Most men, we end up staying and ultimately settling, while women will be there as long as it's convenient. And then once they have an epiphany that they deserve more, they'll break up a happy home to go pursue something that's likely never going to materialize.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I just don't want my man to just accept me the way that I am. And like me, so I can get better. I'm expecting some feedback so I can elevate.
Let me question.
Very few though. Can I go and then you come back, Sir Hill?
Yes, sir.
You've been around a lot of women. I would only imagine just based on experience. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, and I'm a cosmetologist, so I was around a lot of women.
There you go.
Yeah.
Most women, I'm gonna give a percentage. I'm gonna go with 80 to 90% of women don't do well with accountability.
95%. 95%.
I think men are not as communicative as women. I think that you don't say anything. Like you don't express it. You wait until it gets to a point where you're talking about things that happened 10 years ago.
Doesn't matter. So this watch what I'm asking though. What I'm saying is, because I asked the question, right? Okay. I said most women do not accept accountability. You said, well, it's because of it. So then that means that you agree with me.
If that's the issue, then that would probably be why. That's why I'm agreeing with the fact that I can't agree that most women don't accept don't do well with accountability, because I can only basically speak for myself.
No, you can't. You can speak to the people that you actually have in your chair, because you actually.
It's hard, ain't it? It's hard, ain't it? It's hard.
It's not that it's hard. Well, I'm being as honest as I possibly. I'm being honest, y'all.
Yeah, we know.
You girl, come out that hole. You in it?
Listen, I'm telling you, it is what it is. I can basically only speak for myself, but even in the women that I communicate with, we very rarely have conversations where a husband has addressed the issue that she's not willing to oblige. I don't.
Okay, so let me ask you. Okay, so I'll go to a specific question and statement. Okay. So he said it. He said women let themselves go when they get into a marriage, into a relationship, and we'll talk about weight. Okay. If a man says something to her about her weight, she will not want to hear that. Is that a true or false statement? In most cases, 80 to 90%.
True.
Okay, so that means that they have a hard time with accountability, because that's a part of what a man would want. He wants
one topic about weight.
I mean, you showed how
you can talk about when kids are born.
Hold on.
We give a lot of time
watching his weight.
But this is what I'm saying. See,
there we go. That's how it starts.
Hey.
That's how it starts.
What worked out with me?
We're going to 99% now, fellas.
Hold up. Let's point it out, though, right? Let's point it out. So he said accountability. And the first thing you said, right? Well, you've been holding in. It don't matter that I held it in or not. I bought it up. You see what I'm saying? That's what you would say. Well, I've been holding it in so long, right? But like I said, we men and y'all women, right? So ain't no difference. Or is it? One of y'all, somebody lying. I'm trying to find out who's lying. That's all I'm trying to do.
Let me bring in Shaq. Shaq, you go, and then Sahel, if you don't mind, you'll come right back with your thought that you had.
Okay, so I don't think women lack accountability. I think we are very self-reflective. Yes, go blank. Everybody go blank. Take it all off. I don't even got to see your face. I'm okay with that. Exactly. Thank you. Give me the floor. All right. So I don't think that women lack accountability. At least you said the women that I know. I do think that women are very self-reflective and is always trying to fix things. I mean, we're naturally fixers, even if that means trying to fix ourselves over and over to figure out what the problem is. And we go to the ends of the earth for our men.
Let's talk,
So,
and then with that, I'm gonna let you finish, okay?
thank
But
you.
I just want, I want to pin in what you just said.
Pin it.
Right back.
Okay, thank you. But we go to the end of the earth for our men, whatever they desire. We love to fulfill those desires. It brings us joy to be able to do that. And so you have to have a level of accountability in order to sustain that over a long period of time. The end.
I'm gonna go after Sir Hale. Go ahead, bro.
I'm afraid to admit tonight we have the first iteration of Capitry tonight based off the comments we just heard. It just happened moments ago. So you are right in the fact that women do think about stuff, but they think about themselves as the victim and how everybody else is wrong and everybody else must acquiesce to how they feel about something, right? So the real truth is most women are not accountable. A lot of women, you'll know this. As soon as they bring up an issue, it'll be, well, what about the man? Well, what about his weight? Well, is he providing it? Well, is he emotionally intelligent? Well, is he a man of God? Well, is he equally yoked? Well, is he being a leader? Well, is he putting it down? Is he getting, instead of saying, hold on, maybe he is off, but let me take ownership of my own stuff. And this stems from little girls. Like we teach we train our girls like we can't touch them. So I can't, I can't spank my daughter. I can't tell her that's my girl. She got my heart wrapped around her finger. We start training her really early to be unaccountable and letting her manipulative character wiggle her out of accountability. And those little girls who we allow to be manipulative young because we think it's cute and she's got daddy wrapped around her fingers, grow into full-grown women who take those same characteristics into the relationships. So this lack of accountability is a manifestation of the lack of training you didn't get in your childhood. And the reason so many women can't see it in their adult lives is because it's so deep-seated in their childhood that it's just part of their existence. And so when the man says this to them, it's a shock. And it's a shock because for most of your world, your life, you've been manipulative. This is why you'll date men. You know you ain't gonna give him no coochie. You know you don't see nothing real with him, but you let him pay for your dates. You let him perform sexual acts on you, knowing you're not going to give it in return. You let him give you emotional time. His emotional availability is right there. And you know good and heck well you don't plan on having anything serious with him. It's because a woman's feminine nature, the part that is feminine and nurturing, the flip side of that is manipulation to get what she wants. Most women have that. And we dress it up in cosmetics. We dress it up in nice blouses and nice skirts with nice pumps, with a nice perfume, with a nice oratorical ability. And it's mask, but it's manipulation. And that manipulation doesn't want to be held accountable. And this is why whenever you bring up something specific, it's always, what about the man?
Y'all be looking so good when y'all lie too, boy. Y'all be
You spit, bro.
Y'all be looking good when y'all lie. I tell you, boy.
I got a 4-year-old daughter. Okay, Shan know my daughter, right? Jordana. Okay, she's cute. Dwayne knows it too, right? Cute little girl, right? So she gets into this moment where, Daddy, can I get that? Right? She'll go there. Today, this is what she did. She wanted, I had a drink. And so she wanted something to drink, but she didn't really ask for it. She just said, man, I'm thirsty. I said, that ain't no question. Okay. I said, that ain't no question at all. So this is what she started doing. She started trying to hold my hand, hug on me, and I said, listen, don't manipulate me. Okay. And I checked it. That's not typically what happens with most little girls. I said, listen, you're not going to manipulate me to have you get some of my drink. What you should have done is just ask for the drink instead of trying to play this little cute role, right? So I want to go back to what was Shay. She says that women try to do everything for their men. Okay. There's a part of everything that you're missing. And I specifically brought in weight on purpose. Okay. If what you're saying is true, that they go extra, then most women wouldn't be overweight. You know that, right? Because most men, 99% of men, I would say, maybe 90% if I could say, do not want a woman that's overweight. Shay, you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving me the percentage statistician.
Most men want women that are fit.
So what I want to understand is why does that define holistically that a woman lacks accountability? And weight is a very sensitive topic because there are so many, and I'm saying this because it could be medical. It's a very sensitive
what
topic.
they're saying.
Yeah, the thyroid. The thyroid. We got it. It's a thyroid. We got it.
It can be. It's not just thyroids. PCOS. Like, really try to understand the way.
But you're still proving their point.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, you're still
we
making
must
an
understand
excuse.
you. Y'all see
And
this, right?
I'm
Y'all see it in real time.
I understand.
Y'all see it
still
in real
doing it. I'm
time.
glad you do.
We must understand what you go through. We as men, hey, prototype, hey man, if that's my wife, hey, what's your hell? Hey, as my mate, I gotta but y'all ain't trying shit to understand us. Fuck him.
So, like I said, you're still proving this point. There are plenty of people on the internet that have, if we keep it with weight, that have lost weight with PCOS. There are plenty of women on the internet that have lost weight with a thyroid issue. There are plenty of people who take hundreds of medications and figure it out. Like, so what they're saying, y'all.
But no, what I'm saying, Shan, is why does that define holistically that a woman lacks accountability if she doesn't take up an issue with her weight? That's the question that I'm posing.
I'll tell you why. It does, because you can look at a person's characteristics from the most important thing about them, which is their body. And now listen, we're not talking about somebody who's just skinny, because skinny doesn't mean healthy. When we talk about weight, we're not talking about skinny women. We're talking about healthy women. And the truth is, particularly in the Black community, high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, all these things are growing. So it's not just about the weight, skinny or big. It's about healthy. And the truth is, a lot of us just saying, you eating too many honey buns, you got sweet tea, you always at what do you call that? Not Golden Chick, but the other one, the Chick-fil-A. You know, always got to drink your sodas, always got to have a Snickers. And listen, we're eating unhealthily, and that accumulates over time. And men don't want a woman. I say this all the time, and people laugh. If I'm in a fire with my woman, like we in a fire, like this is for I got a wife and 4 kids. We in a fire. I can lift my kids out. If I can't lift my wife, that's a horrible. And it sounds funny, but this is how men think about stuff. We think about the most horrible situation, and can I protect the woman that I love? And truth is, we don't think about scenarios like this. We don't plan for life. We don't plan for grandchildren. We don't plan for being healthy, walking on the beach. So health is important. And I can look at a person and I can tell if they don't never drink water, her pH balance is off, right? If she never has a salad, something's gonna be wrong with her bones. She's not getting enough vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin E, vitamin D. There's things that you can think about. So the way you conduct yourself says a lot about you. I'll say this last thing, because you hire people, the way a person presents themselves says a lot about them. And that's why we focus when we raising children or, people that get in school, we tell them that how you present yourself, that first 7 seconds is critical. Well, if it's like that for an interview or you meeting somebody for a date, well, we got to be honest about this. It's the same thing when we meet somebody and we're talking about relationship, marriage, childbearing, and then all the other stuff that comes with that.
I have a question for Sir Hill. And those statistics, how many people with the high blood pressure and the diabetes and that are stroke risk, how many of those are men?
I would say the majority are men. And I got a reason for that. Part of that reason is why, for the most part in our communities, we have trusted the care of meal preparation for our women. And a lot of times our women who we trust to cook food, the way we're cultured from our mothers, we're cultured to eat bad. And for most of us, it takes a heart attack or a stroke or something very serious to make us snap out of it to stop eating very poorly. So while a lot of those statistics are men, we carry the most stress, we carry we do the hardest jobs. There's a reason for that. But if we're doing that, there is no reason why women now are rivaling men in coronary heart disease, in different cancers, in hypertension, when we're doing the hardest jobs. Ours is due to the stress of life. A lot of our women's is strictly due to a lack of care in diet, right? So that's what that is.
So your reason isn't associated with a lack of accountability.
No,
most women are not concerned about a dude as far as like for example, if a dude is not overweight, but even women care about how a dude looks. Even they don't want an overweight dude most times, right? Am I wrong in that? Am I wrong in saying that? Most women don't want a fat dude.
I would say, but we're accountable.
I like them a little thicker. Yeah.
But society, we talk about men and we take it. Like if Ricky said to me today, like, Sir Hell, bro, you out of shape and overweight, bro. You look terrible. I'm not gonna say, oh my God, I can't believe Ricky just hurt my feelings. He should be more sensitive. I'm gonna say, hey, bro, I appreciate you, dog. And I'm gonna get in that gym.
You're probably gonna say, well, what about the woman?
It takes another man to make you go get in the gym.
But
iron sharpens iron.
Even if it did, I'm accountable. I'm open to accountability. Is the point?
What about self accountability?
So go ahead, Dwayne.
I do got a question. Speaking on that, so would it be okay for ladies? Y'all can answer that. If your girl came to you, be like, "Man, you looking a little." Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
But even the way you're saying that, Dwayne, you're like not blunt about it, as Sir Howell just explained.
No, I get that.
Hey, bro, you look terrible. Yeah. And when you said it, you said
no, because most likely that person wouldn't be a friend from a female standpoint. I ain't no female, but I'm just saying I cut them too. If you can't approach me like that as a female, like, well, you know what? Let me take that back, because they do be calling themselves the B words, and then they be going all out sometimes now. So
no,
I can't speak.
I can respond. We do have those conversations with each other. However, if we really want to be serious about it, it'll go back to accountability, because large in part, we will start and then stop. And then we give each other passes. Like, girl, I know you're going through something. So it is what it is.
And that's when they don't need
girl, you already fit, girl. Girl, you already fine. Some other man gonna love you, girl. Girl, you think what, girl? He can't. He got a little dick anyway, so he can't even handle that, girl. Somebody gonna love you. This is how ladies talk about stuff.
How you know?
Because I happen to talk to a lot of women. In my coaching, I've been counseling for a long time. I got a whole book on this stuff. I've been doing this for several years now.
I'm not going to sit here and lie on this panel. Y'all know what we be doing.
I understand. This is so interesting.
Nobody lying, Shan.
And once again, y'all have proven with the deflection that y'all not accountable. Like, you're bothered that we're saying that you're not accountable.
Dia did it again. She did it again.
I got one question. No, I have one question.
She did it again. She did it again right in front of y'all face. Way to pivot. So pretty doing it too. Shout out to your husband.
Look, I got one question. How many men on this panel would tell their wife that she needs to lose weight?
Me.
Yeah.
So nobody
from all of them.
I got a 150-pound weight limit, so no.
My wife a big woman. I told her before, but that's like I'm saying though. I accept you as you are at the end of the day.
So you like a big woman then?
I love my wife.
No, Ms. D, no, you're conflating. So you're asking a question about accountability, and now that we hold
y'all.
I just want to say, I just want to get this point.
I'm just gonna prove my points at all times, so it don't even matter.
Right. So with my wife, I'll say, and she'll tell you this, like she will. I'll be like, babe, that you out of line with this. What are we doing? And then she'll say, baby, I know. And then what we do? She'll either go get a gym membership, she'll start walking, she changes her diet up, because this is what happens in life. Most of us, we go ups and downs, right? So 3-4 months you own, something happened in life, a month, right? So you go through. It's about being consistent. And so yes, when my wife is, I will say something specifically about it, and then she'll start to address it.
You know what's interesting, as I said before, what men would do, like whenever I go at any of the guys on the panel, they think, they reflect, and they think and say, you know what, you may be right. Matter of fact, Rick conceded a point when Sir Hale had said something. He said, you know what, Sir Hale, I'm going to concede. That's him taking accountability, right? But when any of the men say something to women, right, there is a point of, there's not a point of processing to say, you know what, you might be right. That does not happen. You might be right. Let me think about that for a moment.
You might be right.
Well, I already know that I'm right. The response,
you might be right.
No, it's not no might be. The response is going to be.
Don't be trying to manipulate him. Don't be trying to manipulate him.
Right.
He might be right.
But that's, you're only saying that out of being condescending.
No,
right?
I'm not. I'm genuinely saying.
Right, but I'm saying,
right.
but that's a lesson that had to be taught to you in order for you to do that. That's what I'm saying. In the beginning, that's not what you did, right?
No, I'm saying in that statement, you're just saying now you might be right. I wasn't saying about the lack of accountability statement,
Okay,
but what
cool.
you're saying right now is you might be right.
Okay, but even in the point of lack of accountability, you should have said, and even now when you had the opportunity to say,
I don't know.
HD, you could be right that most women don't take accountability, but in what I've seen in my situation is XYZ. That's not what you did. So that comes back to let you know again that even yourself don't even take accountability.
Well,
you know that they say they'll always say
this. If you rephrase your statement to say women lack accountability when it comes to weight management or weight loss, I would agree with you then. But to make a generic statement to say overall that women lack accountability, I disagree with that. I do.
But that's not what I said. I said,
I know that's not what you said.
No, I'm saying in the beginning, I said, let me give a specific point, is what I said. Right? I said, I'm going to be specific because people were speaking in general terms. I said, well, let me give you a particular situation where they don't take accountability. Well, when you should always take accountability, regardless of the topic, right? Because there is a point in it that there could be some facts in it. It talks about gleaning from a conversation, right? Even though I may disagree with what you're saying, Shay, I can still say, you know what? Okay, in the part of what you're saying, it can't be all. I can say that for sure. That's what I did, right? I said not in all situations, but when I talk about specifically talking about weight, women have an issue with that conversation when it comes from their man, right? Because I don't know, maybe it's an emotional thing or something. But in all times, you should be willing to accept accountability. If you gain weight, if you lose money, if you did bad at something, you should always take accountability when you're not at the level that you should be, right? So that's all I'm saying.
All right. So I do have something on that because we, all right. This goes back to that most. Or
I don't even know if we've been to another topic, but here we go.
No. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago? You fashioned a question like the most. Damn, what was the question? Disappointment. Who takes disappointment the best or something like that?
Who accepts rejection the best?
There we go. All right. So it was like having to think about that. So now I'm thinking about this question in the same way as for accountability. Like, man, Adam, you know, like I think about that. We ragging on the women, but Adam was one of our chief example as for taking accountability. So I'll qualify it a little bit, saying strong men are able to take accountability. Strong women are able to handle accountability, or high emotional intelligent women are able to handle accountability. So I don't. It's tough because we as men, Adam being prime example, didn't accept accountability. He blamed it on God, then blamed it on the woman. He passing blame all the way around. So I think we all have the capability of not handling accountability, but it does take something strong. Come on, Sir Hale.
Hold on. To speak to that Adam story, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're saying he threw accountability all over the place, right? He blamed it on God. I think he didn't understand. He thought the woman was equal to his accountability level, right? So that's why he took the fruit from her in the first place. It was after that God then set the hierarchy, because he was like, it was the woman that gave it to me. That woman you gave it to me. And so God was like, you know what? Nah. So now the woman's supposed to follow you. So it was after that was our hierarchy set. So you can't just say, oh, Adam was super weak. He just didn't understand that women can't be accountable. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I've been saying, that women are they can't be accountable. So God set the standard and was like, okay, this is what it is. A woman's the folly.
That's an interesting perspective.
Did you finish your thought, Dwayne?
Yeah, I'll say it. Yeah. I mean, from that standpoint, all I wanted to inject was that accountability piece of it. But then if as for the leader, I haven't studied. I'll say that I haven't studied it from that perspective. As for the after the hierarchy was instituted, if that is so, but it does make sense, prototype. So that's an interesting perspective to hear from.
I'm gonna let that one go. If we can create a spinoff show for that point, I want to deal with what my brother Dwayne Jones just said, because I think it's a point that so many people use that Adam didn't have a point of reference for anything. We do, so we can learn from his mistakes, so that we don't make those same issues. They didn't have anybody else. We do, and I think that the issue we do is, instead of us being accountable, we go point to somebody else who didn't do something. And it doesn't have anything to do with emotional intelligence per se. It doesn't have anything to do with age. It's about maturity. That when you recognize that you're responsible for the outcomes of your life, you can't blame this on anybody else. Like, we love talking about this and we love saying this. What we don't mention is that when you die and you go meet Jesus, he's not going to ask you, well, did you behave this way because your husband did this or because your wife behaved this way? It is all on you. Right? So forget what Adam did, forget what Eve did. What did you do? Like, what was your responsibility in the situation that you're in? Were you able to take accountability with all these 66 books of the Bible, with these hundreds of stories about people lacking accountability, people being wiped off the planet of the state of the earth because they couldn't get it right? Did you learn from all of that? Because we have the benefit of this literature that Adam did not have, right? So in us talking about that, it puts more responsibility on us because we have more available to us. So we can't use the Adam situation to suggest that men have an issue with accountability. I think that we have to look at that and use that story to say it's much more of a reason why we have to be responsible.
And I believe that's why I brought it up as an example to say that we have the capacity to do the same thing. And it takes us being strong. And that, as for the reason for emotional intelligence, especially for men, we typically pass the blame whenever pride is involved. That's typically whenever our pride is damaged.
Men do not do that. Most men don't.
Nah.
Oh, well, I mean, for a weak man, I'll say from that perspective, will then blame or put off from a pride standpoint and not take ownership, because ownership is not reflecting, or not taking ownership is not reflecting on yourself, but then looking at how somebody else is responsible for your actions. And that's what I'm getting at is, ultimately he was responsible for his actions, and he did eat. And that's the thing. He did eat. So he also then partook in something that he knew better not to partake of, because he too was told. Right. So that's a level of responsibility that comes with it as well. So I'm bringing it up from the standpoint of that is a model for, that's the first Adam. The second one was Jesus. So ultimately, what did woman fall for? Sin. She was tempted. So as for the same thing, what was the man? The man was tempted. Was it manipulation in what happened? Was it seduction in which she got him to do it? It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. The fact is that he effed up too. So from that standpoint, I'm looking at it like Jesus is the second Adam, where that is the ultimate example. Hey, this dude messed up, right? Jesus, he didn't mess up. So that's where, for me, as for personal responsibility, then comes in from that standpoint.
I just want you to think about this. Just throwing this out there, and I don't want to make this too theological. Just think about this. It wasn't about Adam and Eve messing up. If Adam would have took responsibility, I don't think none of this other stuff would have happened.
Correct.
And this is what we speak to. This is why we are so pressed on what we need our women to be. That we shoulder so much of the weight of stuff that even when our wives make a mistake, that's going to ultimately come back on the husband. And so if Adam in that moment, if he would have took responsibility and ownership of what Eve had done, we wouldn't be in this situation. But anytime a man gives up his leadership and equalizes himself with a woman who is of less accountability, now we all got to be held accountable for this. We all missing out.
So
this is why we need our women to respect us and don't put us in a position where we're going to fail. Now this is a part that we don't talk about. We don't talk about the fact that Adam actually trusted Eve. And the reason he consumed of that, knowing what he could do, is the truth is a lot of our wives have influence over us in ways we don't even know about. And we will do stuff that we should not do because we trust our wives. So Adam is supposed to be responsible, but the truth is our wives have to be accountable. Adam is responsible for his power. Eve is responsible for her influence. And that's why both of them had to get it when they both made that mistake.
This goes directly to like the topic of the discussion for this evening. See how the Lord works. Hey, listen. So
won't he do it? Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? So in the current situation that we have, it's in the Black community specifically, the single rate is very high, right? Black women single, Black men single. Both would say they by choice. Whatever. Okay. So with that being said, who needs to make the adjustment first? Because you have men saying, this is my requirements. And then you also have women saying, this is my requirements. But you have women giving up the box without requiring marriage. You have men saying, you know what, I'm going to still smash even though she's not my wife. If she going to give it up, then I'm going to take it, right? But I'm not going to marry her because I get everything else without being able to be married. So why would I get married? So the question of the evening is, who should make the adjustment first? And we'll go with the person that has the most accountability, Shay.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Give me a trophy next time. I would say, who should make the change first in terms of if you are wanting to transition into marriage? What's the question exactly? Is that it?
If that's how you want to spin it, that's cool too.
No, I want to make sure I have clarity.
Who should make the adjustment first when it comes to wanting a marriage? We'll go with that.
So I would say the man, if he is to lead, and he who finds a wife finds a good thing and finds favor with the Lord. So he will make those changes. And when he does make those changes, from what I hear, then his eyes will be open to see his wife and who she is.
And anybody can go. This is a free for all.
I nominate Ricky. We got to tackle
y'all see how pretty she look when she lie? She just angelic. Look at you. Women, y'all need to adjust. It's just the way. This market is y'all market, and y'all think we the one who can fix it. No, this y'all market. It's y'all market. This is y'all store. This is y'all Kmart. This is y'all Wally World. This is y'all Woolworths. But y'all want men to fix it. Because what's going to happen? This is what's going to happen.
Did you hear what I said?
Said men will continue to elevate, and y'all ain't going to be wives. Y'all ain't wives now. See, because once a man elevate, they understand a certain woman is beneath them. Right? And I can prove it because y'all masculine sisterhood, that's what they use. They use the very thing that men do when they pick women, when they get money and talk about choosing men. That's where y'all got it from. So this is the market y'all choose. Relationships are the personification and agreement of a relationship. Right? So what y'all do is y'all give out sex, not y'all, because there's never anybody on the panel. You good, God-fearing women, it's never y'all. Right? But what happens is that in this marketplace that y'all own, that y'all don't never want to take, whether it's accountability or responsibility for, right? If you sleep with a dude without a rubber, he got you pregnant when you had sex with him. Right? When you sleep with a dude and he leave you, it ain't that you didn't vet that man correctly, right? It's that he sold you a dream and left you with babies, right? 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 It's y'all market. And y'all want us to fix it. It's y'all fucking store. When y'all gonna fix it? That's why it ain't getting fixed. Because there's not enough women out in these streets. There's not enough wives and there's not enough ladies. Y'all letting the hoes run just all through the store. Running past self-checkout. Don't even matter. And what the ladies do, y'all sit by idly while them hoes do whatever they want to do. And secretly, not y'all, but a lot of y'all envy them hoes. Y'all want to be out there in the streets with them so much so now your man looking boring. Ooh, I want to start an OnlyFans. I wonder how much money y'all can make. Do y'all job. How about that? How about y'all do y'all job and we'll do ours? Y'all don't want to talk about that though. That's all I got.
Oh, nobody want to say nothing now.
What was the question again?
Okay, I'll put it. Who should adjust first? Men or women when it comes to getting ready for marriage? Who should adjust first?
I think people need to adjust.
You gotta pick one.
No, why I gotta pick one this week?
Because it's who
you could be neutral when you get ready. No, I have a genuine response.
Let him have it, D. Give it to him.
I have a genuine response, and I feel like it's a lack of self-awareness on both sides. And I feel like as individuals, we need to all can see on trying to get in any type of relationships until we figure out who we are. And that's the basis of the problems as far as men and women are concerned. I don't feel like the blame should be on either side. That everybody needs to take individual accountability for where they are in their lives and who they choosing, and take responsibility for whatever result you get from being in any situation. And we need to quit blaming each other. That's being part of the problem. Nobody's taking individual accountability for anything. And how many of us are actually self-aware? Like who really knows who they are, even in thinking about a partner? Like, let's start at the basics, and that's figuring that out before you even choose. As far as who needs to, what was it? Who needs to
adjust first?
Yeah, who needs to concede? Basically, no. We all need to figure us out as individuals before we try to commingle with anybody. I think that's the basis of the problems that's going on in our communities. And that's all of the communities. So I don't blame either side. I blame a lack of self-awareness, period.
I'd like to address this. This is the second iteration of cabinetry that we've heard so far, sprinkled in the conversation. So I want to address this. So no, men align, women adjust. I'll say this again. Men align. It is a man's job to be strong. It's a reason why it's called femininity. Femininity is soft, is malleable, is adjustable, it's agreeable. That a woman's nature is to adjust to a man. I guarantee you, you get a man that adjusts to your moods, adjusts to the way you see things, adjusts to your wants and desires, and you'll lose respect for that man because he can't be a leader and he's always bent over. He can't be a leader and he's always adjustable. He can't be a leader and he can be changed based off of how you feel. So no, it's a man's job to align himself. And if we want to, take this to the, spiritual, to align himself with God, to his ultimate maker, his purpose. And then his wife, who is his helpmeet, comes and she adjusts herself to be an asset to his life. So I think what we're doing is we're talking with political correctness because it sounds good. If I just say everyone has to adjust, everyone has to know who they are, everyone has to find themselves, what it does is it takes off the accountability that a lot of our women call blame, right? No, in our situations now, we've taught our women long enough to go find yourself. We told them long enough to just go travel, just to go get your degree, go figure out who you are. And our women are now 30s and 40s, aren't married, aren't even marriageable, yet having children, right? I'm gonna tell you the thing that I believe. You want to figure out who you are, do it with somebody, because there's no better reflection or mirror you have than somebody that God places in your life for you to see yourself through the mirror of them. So if you really want to know who you are, don't go do it on an island. It didn't work for Adam, and it's not going to work for you. So to answer the question, men align and his woman adjusts to him. That's the way that it works.
So I want to chime in and kind of agree to that, right? He used the word align, but I was going to say, men have to start taking the community serious and putting that, if we want to save the community, men got to start taking the community serious. And then once we do that, then the women will definitely just fall in line with whatever, if we're leading properly that way. So, I mean, it would be women don't have no choice but to adjust if men are doing the right things and caring about society as we should.
So what is the pushback on that? So what does it mean when if a woman says she leaves a good man, right? If a good man is a good leader, good provider, a good father, and she still doesn't follow the rules, shouldn't she fall in line if that's the case? If that's the example,
I think she will. I think
in
most cases she will.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Right? That will be optimal for the woman you have, right? The woman you know how to choose, the woman you know how to pick. I'm asking as a whole, how many excuses and times have we heard a supposedly good black woman say she left a good black man? He was a leader, he was a follower, he was a man in his community, and she cheats or she leaves and takes him for half his stuff. So why do we keep using this example that a good man makes a good woman? That's not true.
I would say that's true. I haven't heard it that often, not anecdotally. You know what I'm saying? So a good woman leaving, I understand this about women. They're only loyal to their perceived circumstance. So whatever their best perceived circumstance might be, that's what they're loyal to. You know what I'm saying? Now, if somebody else can make a circumstance look better, then she'll probably leave you. But as long as you're her best option and continue to always be her best option, you don't really got nothing to worry about.
But can we say, not in your case, because there's never been anybody up here, right? But in real life, isn't it fair to say that most women believe what they want to believe, that they could believe a lie and make it the truth? So couldn't they make something outside that's not their best option look like their best option in their own mind?
It depends. Nah, I don't think so. Like I said, that's why I said they're perceived the best option. You know what I'm saying? So there's some women that will look at something shiny and be like, no, that's not for me. That's only going to play with me anyway. You know what I'm saying? There's some limited women that can see that. But whatever their perceived best thing to do, that's what they're going to do.
But their perception is theirs, correct?
Yeah, their perception is theirs. Okay. But you have to be their best perceived option. And as long as you can be that, you're safe.
I want to say to Sir Hale, and I want to address your point that me speaking generally is like not holding us accountable. I mean, and I'm saying us as people because I said that we need to have general self-awareness before we choose to commingle. And I'm saying that because we dealing with a generation that uses this term that's disturbing to me, which is high value. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you can let something outside of yourself, particularly material things, tangible things, determine the value of another human being. That is disturbing to me. And it's disturbing that a whole community of people use this term so loosely, like high value man. What does that mean? When we talking about human beings and that we supposed to love and care for one another and say things, encourage things, and inspire each other to be better. But we have a term to define ourselves, which is high value. Can somebody explain that to me, please? And with that being such a general term being used, how is it that we not lacking self-awareness anytime we looking outside of ourselves to define our value?
I'll take a stab at this real quick.
well,
In
go
30
ahead.
seconds, in 30 seconds, I'll be done. High value man is equivalent to a virtuous woman. What you just described is the very thing that happens in Proverbs 31 when she's described by the things she makes, by her business endeavors, that the people at the gate called her husband blessed. So high value man is equivalent to the virtuous woman. And it's not about the stuff that we're assessing ourselves by. Is that the stuff that we acquire is often an indication of our value system. So when you see a man acquiring estates and insurances and businesses, and he's not doing this to ride around in the biggest car, the nicest rims, the biggest house, but he's doing this to leave a legacy for his family. That speaks to a man's character. So a high value man in its real sense is not just about him earning six figures. He got a 6-inch dick. He's got a six pack. He's 6 feet tall. That's not what it's about. It's about his characters, his moral, his principles, and the legacy he leaves behind. It's equivalent to Proverbs 31, a virtuous woman.
Okay. So with that being said, all of those other characteristics that you named, the tall, the 6-inch or better penis, the things that he owns, where did that come from then? Because I never hear it being
Black women.
Since a legacy.
It came from black women.
So black women came up with the term of a high value, and it's
They came up with the requirements. Yeah,
I wouldn't throw that on my sisters like that.
Because
I wouldn't throw that on my sisters like that.
That's
I was all them women. I would say I was.
Do we want to dig into this?
Come on, man. I'm not just going to blame black women for that criteria. Like, come on, man.
Prototype. Let me ask you this question: who sets the requirements for men or women?
I said I'm not blaming black women alone for that criteria.
I asked you a question, though. So here, I got you right quick. I asked you a question, though. Who sets the requirements for a man? Men or women?
I would say men.
What?
Frodo.
Men tell other men what the
I would say men, because I look at another man at what he has. If I want that, you know what I'm saying? That's setting the criteria for me.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not what you require him. Women have a particular list.
I mean, I don't care what they want.
That's fine. You don't.
That, I mean, but
that's a lie. That's a lie.
That's not. That's not a lie.
Hold on. Stop.
Rick,
stop,
hold on real
stop,
quick.
stop,
Rick, let me go and then I'm gonna listen, Rick, because we've been on this show a couple of times and I be trying to remember things that people say. That's probably why Dwayne over there quiet. Hey, listen, okay. Now, Prototype, you said I did XYZ. I got my degree because I wanted to build something that a woman could come in and be a part of. You said that.
I ain't said that.
Okay, you said that.
I ain't say that.
You did say that.
I ain't say that.
I go find it. All right, and so what you said was the reason. Okay, well, let's say you didn't say it. So you're telling me that the reason why you went to go get the degree that you got, because you talked about that most black dudes don't have it, and you was an athlete and you wanted to kind of do something different, that you got to a point of where you're, I guess, financially secure. Why would you do that? For yourself?
Yeah. So I could live my best life. Yeah.
So why get a woman?
Because I like women.
So why marry one?
Because I wanted a family.
Exactly.
I wanted the family.
Exactly. But the reason why, but you couldn't have done it the same if you didn't go ahead and get those other requirements of a particular woman. Like your wife, you think that she would have been with you? You're saying she would have been with you?
This is something I did say, and you could find this on the tape. I could have chosen anyone I wanted. There was no one for me. Why? So because I am who I am, I had plenty of options.
It's because of what you had.
Because I'm me, right? Because I'm me and what I have, whatever, exactly. I'm me. I had plenty of options. There was no one, and I could have picked anybody.
He had them lined up. He's saying.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that every woman wouldn't have chose you if you didn't have what it is you currently have, is what I'm saying. So women set the requirements of what man they want. So a dude is not gonna be like, listen, fellas, you gotta have a 6-inch dick. A dude ain't gonna say that. Okay. A woman says that. A man ain't gonna say you need to be tall. A man ain't gonna say that. A woman says that.
I'm 5'8".
That's fine. But I'm saying, but you're not going to tell your sons, listen, women said it. It says what their requirement is of what they want in a man.
So look, I really don't care what a woman says, because even if they have these requirements, even if they have these perceived requirements, I know that it doesn't matter when it comes to me.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
No, I don't. Now,
You
my
said-
wife, I said you're going to refer to what I said about my wife.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what you want to refer to.
Exactly.
But you're lacking to understand that my wife runs my household. I
I
don't want to
understand
think
that.
I don't want to think about how my kids are being served or whatever.
That's
So I'm
not the
going to
point.
handle that.
That is not the point, good sir.
What's the point?
The point is that you said you don't care what women think, and yes, you do. You care what your wife think. Just what you said earlier.
That's
You wanna
not
make
women, though.
Your wife not a woman?
That's not women. That's not the masses. We're talking in generalities here.
So your wife's a unicorn.
We're talking in generalities. I don't care in a general sense. I don't care what women want. I care what my wife wants because she runs my house. So if she has a need, it's serving my purpose.
So what you're saying I'm just getting clarified, bro. So when you say women, you mean the world. When you say your wife, you mean your wife, correct?
Facts.
Okay, I just want to make sure that your wife's a woman, though.
Did anybody want to respond to that? I think
I just have one more thing to say. I want to know what's gonna happen where all the virtuous women gonna be and where all the high value men gonna be when this dollar turns to zero. Where's our value gonna come from then?
It's going to come from the man who can
Value
build.
is intrinsic. Pardon me?
It's going to come from the man that can still build, protect, and provide, regardless of it being a monetary thing.
Period. And a woman that can start a fire with some sticks. That's what you better be looking for. So fellas, don't be scared. You need to find one that'll get her hands dirty, because everything else is gonna go out of the window. So that's why I'm saying.
Yeah, you just probably put some women out of business, because
and some men too.
Some men too. Yeah.
Some men too, especially if your value is determined out from anything outside of yourself.
But that's what we're trying to say, that that's why we're saying that women are the ones that say, this is what I want, right? If a man don't check most of what it is that she wants, then she's not going to be willing to be with that dude, right? Am I right? So you're going to get with a dude that you don't really want to be with.
That I really don't want to be
that
with.
He doesn't check your boxes.
I really want to be with is an option. Will I give him an opportunity to show up? It depends on how self-aware I am. When you start something and you don't know yourself, you don't even know what to look for. It's only until you grow, like Sir Hale said, until you get that mirror and you dealing with a person and you learning yourself in the process, that your needs evolve, that your thought process evolves, that your desires evolve. And at that point, we can make decisions. But until we get a real reality check and we realize that it's a mirror that we looking at, it's not likely that those things are gonna happen. And everything that we building upon is superficial. And that's the generation, that's what's going on right now. Everything is superficial. That's just my perspective.
I got you. And this is the point that I'm making, is that, and we gotta learn how to be 100% honest about things, in the sense of that men do things because of they want to impress women.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Right. So why is that the case? Because women decide what the requirements are. That's what it is. And so if women, they can have whatever the requirements that they want, then if that's your requirement, then you should stay there. Like, for example, some dudes, I mean, as far as like their physique, like them being tall and then whatever it is that they carry and they man package, that's not something that they can deal with. But a woman that says, you know what, the dude has to have, I don't know, 6 figures. He got to have that right now. A man has to, what else is it? A man has, what else what is it? What's on the checklist?
Honestly, if we watch dating shows, 90% of the women that come on these dating shows have a list. Most of them are requiring 6 figures. They require where men don't care, because they are the providers anyway. So Maybe they have a certain look that they're concerned about. Maybe they're looking for certain femininity qualities in a woman, somebody who's going to listen, somebody who is going to follow, but they don't come, men are not coming with lists of things that they're looking for in women necessarily. Women, however, they have pages. We have documents on what it is. So,
and let me tell you how crazy it is. This I can tell y'all this y'all market, right? Women want monogamous men, but y'all herald and applaud game shows, TV shows like The Bachelor. You would say you would want a monogamous man, but women are going on a dating show like Ready to Love or some shit like that, where you date while you seeing other men court other women or try to see what other women be about. This is y'all market, and y'all don't want to fix it. And the one, hey, hey, to the real ones, you didn't lock down a man and you being a wife and a woman. Shout out to y'all. But this is y'all wheelhouse, and y'all want us to fix it. It's not gonna get fixed because it's not our job to fix. It's not our jobs. At the end of the day, people want to blame it on the Pookies, but you still sleeping with the Pookie. The Pookie couldn't be a Pookie if you didn't lay down with him. Oh, the Pookie. Oh, hold on, though. I ain't even worried about. I don't care about the list. I'm gonna kick knowledge to you.
Because
right?
you ain't kicking Pookie, but
right?
you got a list.
But then if that's
you're
the
still
case,
proving the point.
This what I'm saying.
You're still
right?
proving the point.
This is y'all market. A man can't get nowhere with a woman until y'all allow us to. If not, we go to jail. We get shot. You're gonna have your family run down on us. Facts. Y'all don't want to be. We all here to do what we here to do. And I keep trying to tell y'all, these young men is on point. Y'all ain't got to believe it. I see it every day. These young men on point. Y'all off. The girls that's up under y'all is off.
I don't deny that. I agree 100%. However, that goes both ways still. Everybody's off.
It's not it don't go both ways. It don't, because
you keep doing it, D.
Hold up.
Doing it.
Hold up. Let me finish. I got you, Sir Harold, but let me finish, right? Again, the men will look. It was a reason why men got married back in the days once they got a girl pregnant. You know why? Because the way was to get married. It was required not only by the daughter, but the family as well, correct? That's why they was called what? Shotgun weddings, right? That was the market. That was how it said. If you slept with my daughter and you got her pregnant, then you must marry her. What's your requirement right now if a man gets a woman pregnant? What's the requirement? Ladies?
I got no.
Who was holding the shotgun, Rick?
I have sons, so I don't know.
Who was holding the shotgun?
The father.
Where's the dad at now?
That's the you want the answer? The dad is not existing because mama fucked a dude that she knew that she wasn't sure of, that wasn't married, and probably wasn't gonna be a good dad. Next question.
Wait.
Next question.
No. That's a bad question. And the reason why is if we asked it in the 90s, we could say the fathers aren't there. In terms of data today as it exists, most fathers are there. Most fathers are in the home, and most fathers are part of their kid's life.
That's our kids, though. My daughter ain't old enough to get married yet. So I think there will be a turn.
The kids behind the kid, like I said, the people behind you, us, are messed up. Those excuses don't flick. Look, ladies, I said it last week and I say it again. We even.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
We even on the fuck ups. We even. But y'all, look, gentlemen, what we've been preaching all this time, be the best version of yourself.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
This to say this ain't nothing new. But ladies, y'all stop the bullshit. Y'all need to stop, bro. This what's going on in the world right now is y'all fault. I don't care what nobody says. I'm tired of tiptoeing around y'all. Y'all ain't on point. Y'all ain't wives and y'all ain't ladies. I say that with 100% assurance because ladies don't move like y'all. Ladies don't lay up with dudes just because he cute. Ladies don't turn a good dude down knowing that's the best option she gonna never get. Ladies don't say dumb shit like, oh, he was a good man, but. Ladies ain't sleeping with their man's best friends. Ladies ain't sitting up under no man, not working, not making him no dinner when he out working 12 and 16 hours to take care of you in his house. That's not a lady. And like I said before, I'm sick of y'all trying to make excuses when y'all looking at these girls like, really, what the fuck is wrong with them? But won't say nothing to them. Won't speak nothing in their ear. Won't pull a coat and say, little baby, you off. Little mama. Y'all want to point to the big mamas and be like, big mama, that's your job, when the big mama's 32 right now.
Is any of my nieces in the chat? Because all I do is preach, okay?
Ms. D, can I? So I want to respond. So I think you're a great woman, and I really do mean this. So just going back and forth, this is just the points. But I'm gonna tell you the issue that I see that with so many women.
Okay.
And I talk about Black women because I talk about Black people. That's what I talk about. We don't mind sharing fault. So anytime it's an issue, it's all of us, it's both of us. We're past sharing fault. Now we got to share responsibility. And what we're saying is that when we agree to fault, typically it's the men that are putting the work to make corrections, while our women just keep on saying it's everybody's fault. So let's figure it out. I think we got to move beyond that, where if a man is saying that we have issues with our women, we don't just say, well, it exists with all of us. No, sit in it for a little bit. Take that accountability and then really do that work without projecting that back onto the man, because that just fosters more arguments. We need our women to be able to hear clearly, I have an issue with you and I need you to adjust. And I need you to adjust without using the opportunity that I've taken to explain my gripe with you, hijacking that opportunity to tell me what's wrong with me. And I think that's what happens all too often. And I think that's what we're seeing now. And I think that's the part that needs to change.
And I'm gonna add to that. I think everybody agrees that the man is the leader. Y'all agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So if the man says that you need to adjust, what's the problem?
I'm a judge.
Okay. So then who needs to adjust first?
I need to adjust first. If he's saying it to me, then I need to adjust.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And men are saying, women, you need to adjust.
Okay.
Now, I'm saying you need to adjust, woman. Right? If I am, we'll say it like this. I do the analogy of colleges, right? If I'm a college, I have a requirement that you have to meet. You can't come tell me that I need to change my requirements. No, you have to meet my requirements. So if I'm the man and these are my requirements, then you need to adjust to what it is that I got going on. Now, once again, we talked about this before. Like, I know I talk about this. Men need to have big discipline, but that's very challenging though to do. It's a challenge for a dude to say no when he know he's not going to get it that often. Women can get it at any time, and they're still willing to not say no. And you can roll your eyes all you want to, Shay. That's a fact. Women control access to sex. So whoever controls access to the sex is the one that should be held accountable to sex not happening. That's just what it is. That's like saying you're a business owner, but your employee is the employee's fault that y'all not doing well. No, you are in that situation, you're the leader as you run a tax business. That's your responsibility to make sure that you hire well of who's coming into your establishment as an employee. So as a woman, it's your responsibility to vet well who's going to insert themselves into you. That's your responsibility, and you're accountable to that because you control access to that. Men, yes, we need to have discipline, but that's very hard to do considering it's not going to happen as often as a woman could get it, is what I'm saying. And it's the word that's used often it's disingenuous to say, no, the man just needs to say no to me. What? Women typically are the ones that initiate the sex in the first place. in the first place. You all are the ones that say, hey, babe, can you come over late tonight? Y'all the ones that say that first. And so from then on out, then yes, he can ask or start because you've already started it. So once again, women should make the adjustment first as it relates to getting to be married, because you need to be a wife, right? I can't find you if you're not no wife. So that's what I'm saying. I appreciate everybody. Did anybody have any last points before we get out of here?
I want to ask, so as to the fellas, like as a older woman, what's the solutions? Like, so what do you suggest we do in regard to grooming other young women?
Stop giving them slack. Stop having pity parties.
I don't.
Look. Let me give you an example. Right.
Okay.
My wife mentors young girls.
Okay.
Right. And whenever, listen, this is my wife. And I love it. Hey, baby, you watching this? I love you. Right. But whenever something happens, girls are always given the benefit of the doubt. Stop giving them the benefit of a doubt. Call it for what it is. It's not miseducation. It's not knowing. You made a choice. You made a choice. You see how y'all, you do it up, you did it up here. Y'all do it all the time. And you can't help it. It's just what y'all, right? But whenever it comes back on your plate, y'all can't help it but to try to find a way to wiggle out of it. It's just what y'all do. It's just what y'all do. Stop. Because this is what I'm talking about when we talk about the nature of things, right? The nature of men. How y'all know the nature of a man is to know that I want to spread my seed as far as wide as I can. I fight my nature for you. We fight our nature. If you have a man that's taking care of you and only you, sexually, financially, emotionally, he's fighting his nature. Leaders like followers too.
Did you hear what I said?
What's a leader without followers? What's a band if nobody's there to listen? Right? So y'all got to start fighting y'all nature and stop using this excuse. Well, I'm a woman. Y'all know I'm emotional. It's funny how y'all can be the most tactical motherfuckers when y'all want to get somebody. Y'all can figure it out quick. But let it come to righting the ship in your relationship. It's a million excuses. What he did, girl. Cold cheat on your man and say, well, you weren't treating me right. You was at work all the time.
Did you hear what I said?
Y'all liars. Stop lying. It's cool. It's cool. But y'all some liars, bro. Stop lying. And you can lie to me all day. Stop lying to your man like that. The one person who got your back at the end of the day. And if you know, you know. I ain't got to point you out. You know it's you against the world. You and him and you and her against the world. Y'all know what it is. Quit bullshitting.
That's it. Hey, Dwayne, did you have something to add? A prototype? Sir Hale?
Oh, absolutely. Ladies, so if we're going to turn this thing around, I'm going to give you a couple of solutions. And I think we gave you a lot tonight, but let me give you a couple of things. Every woman, you need to get an apron. We need to teach our young girls how to have an apron, get your behind in the kitchen, and learn how to master the moment. And it sounds funny, but there's a reason. Older school women, I noticed, I would have grandmothers and aunties who would get into the kitchen. And you would hear things like when you walk into their house, there was peace in the house, or there was love in the house. Because women understood that they control the atmosphere of their home, not the temperature, but the atmosphere. And they were so intentional that anybody who walked through their doors, their husbands, their kids, and anybody else who had the privilege of entering into that sacred space, they wanted them to feel that peace and that love and that joy there. One of those things that we used to do is we would spend time around the dinner table. That was a place, no matter what you were dealing with in life, no matter what went on, what happened, when you sit at that dinner table, all those stresses and problems were erased, not because of the food, but because of the intentionality of the woman to prepare an environment to be safe for everybody. So ladies, get your aprons out. Understand that what you create at home is what your man looks forward to come home to, or what he stays, outside circling the block and don't want to come in because you didn't create the environment. So get your apron. The second thing, you need to get some lingerie. It don't make no sense. Y'all ladies going to sleep in sweat clothes and shorts and baggy t-shirts that ain't ironed, don't do nothing with your hair. Get you some lingerie and master your moment. Your man needs to know that he is the most sexiest, attractive, masculine thing that has ever existed in your entire life. Master that moment. You also need to have your going out clothes. This is when you go out. This is how you represent him to the world. A lot of women don't understand your power. You are your husband's billboard. So if you walk around masculine and angry and arrogant and mean and tough all the time, you make the world see your man as a weak man. So you're his billboard. Every time you go out, you shouldn't be going out with do-rags on your head, because some women ain't got hair, or bonnets on your head, or house shoes on in spandex clothes. You need to dress appropriately so that you bring respect to your man. And then the other part that I'll say this is you have to have some self-regulation. I think what we've done is we want men to be all masculine while we want them to be soft and sensitive. And that doesn't work. The softer a man is, the more you will dislike him. So if you want a man to stay a man, then you have to master being soft. And that requires you to be self-reflective. Understand your own hormones. Understand your own emotions. Understand how to communicate and to talk, and not assume that he's supposed to be your personal psychic to read your mind, because that's not his job. I think if we get back to that and women holding themselves accountable, I think this is the solution to creating wives that men want to marry.
Phenomenal take, bro. Phenomenal take. Listen, man, it's been good. It has been good. Listen to some life teaching lessons. Dwayne didn't have to come off mute, you know what I'm saying, because he ain't talking. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all, you know what I'm saying, for being here. Again, it's been dope. I knew it was going to be a dope show. You know what I'm saying? Catch Dia over there on Instagram. Getting ready to do her own thing. Keep us posted on that. Prototype going live tomorrow, 9 Eastern. Prototype dad, Dwayne Jones, he over there taking photography, or doing photography, should I say. All right. And then you got Sir Hale, he's blazing the charts. What you at now? What, 60,000?
No, I'm still at 50, man. I'm just working my way up, though. Working my way up.
Your way, though. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Check out Sir Hale. He does really good content. Shan, you still doing your TikToks? Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. You're not consistent.
Yeah, I've been a busy mother.
Yes.
We're in prom season. My hair business is kind of moving, so I'm trying to
prom.
You're proving the point. You're proving the point. I'm kidding.
And then you got Uncle Rick. You know what I'm saying? Catch him at R Dubs.
R Dubs on all platforms: YouTube, Instagram, IG. I don't do TikTok, so you can friend me on Facebook too on the Ricky Williams. I will friend you.
That's a bet. And then you got Miss Tax Season herself, Shaq in the building. You can follow her at Instagram. It's been dope. Don't forget to go like, share, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to a G, right? Subscribe
to my boy if you have it, man. He should have been at 1K, man. If y'all go ahead and click the little button. It don't cost you nothing.
HomeOfDad.life if you want merch or anything about me. That's where you can find me. Until next time, we out here. Deuces.
The boy is dangerous.
Bad feeling about this.
You don't seem to understand something.
thing that I like most about being a dad is that I see that I'm about to impact the world.